Are you getting ready to travel soon? This holiday season, Christmas flyers especially need to pay attention because there are 8 major passport and ID regulation changes that could completely disrupt your upcoming trip. And shockingly, most travelers don't even know they exist. Even experienced jet setters and frequent flyers are suddenly being stopped at security checkpoints, unable to continue their perfectly planned Christmas getaways. Are your travel documents updated to meet the Transportation Security Administration's newest requirements? If this info helps, make sure to like this video and subscribe so you never miss a critical travel update that could save your holiday plans. Today, we're breaking down every essential detail about the latest TSA rules that might ruin your Christmas vacation if you're not prepared. Number 1. Arriving early enough. What could possibly be worse than planning a perfect vacation, only to miss your flight because you underestimated airport queues? The single biggest factor that derails travel plans is failing to allow sufficient time at the airport, and it's completely preventable with proper advance planning. The TSA officially recommends arriving 2 hours before domestic flights and 3 hours before international flights. During peak travel seasons including summer months, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and spring break, intelligently add an extra hour to these baseline recommendations. TSA data demonstrates that security wait times can triple during high-volume periods, with certain checkpoints processing over 70,000 passengers in a single day. When you provide yourself ample time, you'll navigate through the airport relaxed and stress-free. Instead of anxiously monitoring your watch every 30 seconds while standing in a security line, you'll be comfortably seated at your departure gate, perhaps enjoying a snack or catching up on work before boarding begins. The most prevalent mistake travelers commit is assuming that having TSA PreCheck membership means they can arrive later than recommended. While PreCheck does reduce time at security screening, it provides no assistance with unexpected traffic congestion, parking shortages, or lengthy check-in lines that frequently occur during peak travel periods. The TSA notes that cutting arrival times close remains the top reason travelers miss their scheduled flights. These TSA regulations evolve constantly, so make sure you stay connected with us for the latest updates that could impact your next journey through airport security. Number 2. Liquids rule, still in effect. Have you ever been forced to discard an expensive bottle of shampoo or perfume because you forgot about the liquids regulation? Despite persistent rumors of policy changes, the 3-to-1-to-1 liquids rule remains firmly enforced at TSA checkpoints throughout the United States. This regulation mandates all liquids, gels, and aerosols must be 3.4 ounces or 100 milliliters or less per individual container, with all containers fitting inside one quart-sized clear plastic bag and only one bag permitted per passenger. TSA data indicates that liquids rule violations remain the #1 reason for secondary bag inspections, with over 30 gallons of prohibited liquids confiscated daily at major airports nationwide. When you pack your liquids correctly from the start, you'll glide through the security line confidently, watching others frantically reorganizing their bags when flagged by screening agents. The only exceptions to this regulation are medications and infant or child nutritional items like formula or breast milk, which you should verbally declare for inspection. These items can exceed 3.4 ounces and don't need placement in your quart-sized bag. A frequent mistake travelers make is assuming that expensive or factory-sealed items receive special treatment. They absolutely don't. That $50 bottle of lotion will be confiscated just as quickly as a $2 bottle if it exceeds the permitted limit. The TSA specifically warns that arguing about this regulation is the primary reason people end up delaying themselves and fellow passengers in line. Number 3. Traveling with children. Have you witnessed the panicked expression on a parent's face when a TSA officer requests documentation they don't possess? When traveling with children, understanding the precise regulations can determine whether you experience a smooth journey or a stressful ordeal that your kids will remember negatively for years. For domestic flights within the United States, children under age 18 don't require identification when accompanied by an adult, but they absolutely must have passports for international travel, including infants. U.S. Customs and Border Protection reports that the single largest cause of delays for families at international borders involves incorrect or missing documentation for children. If you're traveling alone with children who aren't biologically yours, or if you share custody arrangements, bring a notarized consent letter from the absent parent or legal guardian. You'll experience a wave of relief when you present that permission letter to a questioning border officer, watching their concerned expression transform into a smile and approving nod. A common error is assuming that a child sitting on a parent's lap doesn't need a passport for international travel. They absolutely do require one. The State Department emphasizes there are 0 exceptions to this requirement, even for newborn babies. Many airlines also mandate birth certificates for lap infants on domestic flights to verify their age qualifies for lap status. Number 4. TSA PreCheck and Clear. What if you could walk directly past those lengthy security queues while other travelers watch enviously? TSA PreCheck membership functions like having VIP access at the airport, permitting you to keep your shoes, belt, and lightweight jacket on while your laptop and liquids remain conveniently packed inside your bag. The program costs $78 for a 5-year membership, which breaks down to merely $15.60 annually to completely transform your airport experience. According to official TSA statistics during February 2024, an impressive 93% of PreCheck passengers experienced wait times under 5 minutes at security checkpoints. Envision breezing through security in mere minutes, then relaxing comfortably at your departure gate with a coffee, while others remain shuffling through the standard security lane. When combined with Clear, a separate biometric service that bypasses the document verification line, you'll feel like you're practically teleporting through the airport. You'll stride confidently past the serpentine regular security lines, proceeding directly to a dedicated lane where officers are waiting specifically for you. A frequent misconception is assuming the PreCheck logo appearing on your boarding pass means you're automatically enrolled. This is incorrect. You must complete the application process and attend an in-person appointment before your trip. The TSA also cautions that wearing excessive jewelry or neglecting to empty your pockets can trigger additional screening procedures, negating your time-saving benefit. Number 5. Passport renewal options. Were you aware that delaying your passport renewal until the 11th hour could cost you hundreds of additional dollars and potentially ruin your travel arrangements? The State Department has introduced an online passport renewal platform that can save you considerable time, money, and anxiety. However, not all travelers know this option exists or meet the eligibility requirements to use it. Using the online platform, you can renew your passport from the comfort of your home instead of enduring long waits at acceptance facilities. You'll experience the satisfaction of completing this significant task in minutes rather than hours. However, eligibility requires that your most recent passport was issued when you were age 16 or older, within the previous 15 years, and you cannot have changed your name or experienced significant damage to your previous passport. Standard processing duration for passport renewals currently spans 6 to 8 weeks, though during peak travel periods like summer and major holidays, this timeline can extend to 10 to 12 weeks. Expedited service requires an additional $60 fee and still consumes 2 to 3 weeks. State Department data shows that over 40% of passport applications submitted during peak seasons experience processing delays. If you need your passport even more urgently, you can schedule an appointment at one of the 26 regional passport agencies for genuine emergency service for travel within 14 days, though these appointments fill extraordinarily quickly. Verify your passport's expiration date right now. Your future self will be immensely grateful you planned ahead, instead of scrambling at the last moment. Number 6. Passport validity requirements. Have you heard the devastating stories of travelers who journeyed all the way to their dream destination only to be refused entry at immigration? Numerous countries worldwide refuse admission unless your passport remains valid for a minimum of 6 months beyond your intended departure date. This regulation catches countless travelers completely unprepared each year, transforming dream vacations into costly disasters. Nations throughout Europe's Schengen area, the vast majority of Asian countries, and many South American destinations strictly enforce this 6-month validity requirement. Even if you're planning just a weekend getaway, your passport must maintain validity for half a year past your return date. The U.S. Department of State identifies passport validity issues as among the leading reasons American citizens encounter entry difficulties abroad. A simple verification today can prevent that sinking feeling of being turned away at the departure gate. Before booking any international journey, research your destination on the State Department's country information pages. Each destination page explicitly outlines entry requirements, including the specific passport validity period needed. When you confirm your passport has adequate remaining validity, you'll proceed confidently through immigration, while watching other passengers being pulled aside for questioning. Establish a calendar reminder 9 months before your passport's expiration date to begin the renewal procedure. You'll appreciate your foresight when your travel plans proceed smoothly without any last-minute emergencies. Number 7. Acceptable identification documents. Picture this scenario: you arrive at the airport terminal only to discover your driver's license has expired or you've somehow misplaced it. This frightening situation affects thousands of passengers annually, but you don't necessarily need to abandon your travel plans if you understand the lesser-known identification alternatives that TSA accepts. The Transportation Security Administration officially recognizes 16 distinct forms of identification at security checkpoints, extending well beyond just driver's licenses and passport books. Your options include passport cards, which are the wallet-friendly, less expensive alternative to traditional passport books. There are also Department of Homeland Security trusted traveler cards, including Global Entry, Nexus, Sentry, and FAST programs. State-issued enhanced driver's licenses are available to residents of Michigan, Minnesota, New York, Vermont, and Washington. Active duty military identification cards work perfectly, as do permanent resident cards and even tribal photo identification cards issued by federally recognized tribes. A surprising number of travelers remain unaware that a passport card, priced at only $65 compared to the $165 cost of a standard passport book, functions flawlessly for all domestic air travel and additionally covers land or sea crossings into Canada, Mexico, and Caribbean destinations. Transportation Security Administration statistics indicate that more than 60,000 travelers each year initially face boarding denial due to identification problems. Keep digital copies of your backup identification options stored on your smartphone. Consider keeping a passport card in a separate location from your regular wallet, perhaps tucked into an interior pocket of your carry-on luggage, ensuring you always have an alternative available. The TSA does maintain an identity verification procedure for passengers who arrive without proper identification, but understand that this process adds a minimum of 30 additional minutes to your security screening experience, potentially causing you to miss your flight. Number 8. Real ID deadline. Have you considered what happens when your standard state-issued driver's license becomes insufficient for passing through airport security checkpoints? The Real ID enforcement date is approaching on May 7, 2025, after numerous postponements stretching back to 2008. Once this date arrives, you'll require either a Real ID compliant driver's license or an alternative federally approved identification document to board any flight within the United States. This requirement impacts every single person who travels by air, regardless of whether you're taking a quick hop to a neighboring state or flying across the country. So how do you determine whether your current license meets Real ID standards? Simply examine the upper corner of your license for a star, bear, or flag symbol. Without one of these distinctive markers, your license will be rejected at TSA security stations once the deadline passes. Obtaining a Real ID isn't something that happens automatically in the mail. You must physically go to your state's Department of Motor Vehicles office, bringing multiple verification documents with you. These typically include proof of identity, such as a birth certificate or passport, documentation of your social security number, and 2 separate items confirming your residential address, which might include utility bills or bank statements. Several states have implemented systems allowing you to upload these documents digitally beforehand, which significantly reduces your time spent waiting at the DMV. The processing timeframes for real ID applications are anticipated to increase substantially as we approach closer to the enforcement deadline, so procrastinating is not advisable. Transportation Security Administration data reveals that approximately 30% of Americans currently lack a real ID compliant license. That's nearly 1 in 3 travelers who could face problems at airport security if they don't act soon.